Hi, kids. As we continue on with our study of Chicago in the 1920s, yesterday we read about um, something called Chicago Ain't No Sunday School, which was the rise of the outfit in Chicago. It ended with the death of Dean O'Banion, the leader of the Northsiders, being murdered in his flower shop on State Street, and the rise of the South Side, what became known as the Outfit, which was first led by Big Jim Colosimo. After he was killed, then John Torrio took over, and his assistant was a guy named Al Capone. So we're going to pick it up. This is part two of that trilogy, and today's article is called "The Chicago Beer Wars." So please follow along while I read. Chicago, the Chicago Beer Wars, the Chicago Typewriter. When the Torrio Capone gang killed Big Jim Colosimo in 1920 and Dean O'Banion in 1924, they died from bullet wounds inflicted from a pistol. Dean O'Banion had a surprise from beyond the grave, though. Just before he was killed, he went on a vacation to Denver, Colorado. While there, he saw an interesting new weapon, a baby machine gun, much smaller and lighter than the ones used in recently finished World War I. O'Banion purchased 3 Thompson submachine guns to bring back to Chicago. The Thompson, or Tommy gun, was developed for use in World War I and was nicknamed the Trench Broom for its ability to sweep enemy trenches clean of soldiers, shooting an astonishing 800 rounds per minute. The gun never made it into service in World War I as the war ended before it could get over to Europe. Since it wasn't especially accurate, people figured it had little value as a weapon in peacetime. After all, who in the world could possibly want to fire 800 bullets a minute? The Northsiders did. They had a brewing gang war with the Jennas of the Little Hell neighborhood, and O'Banion figured the Tommy gun could be just what they needed to end the Jennas once and for all. However, Frankie Yale ended Dean O'Banion in Schofield's flower shop on November 10th, 1924, before the new weapons could be used on the Jennas. Still, nobody in Chicago had ever seen the Tommy gun in use. Even though it seemed like the Northsiders were in trouble with the loss of their leader, the new Northside boss, Jaime Weiss, had plans to put the Tommy guns to work. Exit Torrio. John Torrio was headed home from the store with his wife when the Northsiders emerged from their black Cadillac in Torrio's quiet South Shore neighborhood. They waited until Torrio's wife Anna was safely out of the way, and Torrio was gathering packages out of the back seat of his Lincoln touring car. Jaime Weiss, Vincent Schemer Drucci, and George Bugs Moran stepped across the street. Using shotguns and pistols, they fired several shots into Torrio. Moran was about to finish him off when a laundry truck turned down the street. The Northsiders, sure that Torrio was as good as dead, sped off on Stony Island Avenue. There you see the hit squad that tried to kill John Torrio, Jaime Weiss, Vincent Drucci, and Bugs Moran. Torrio didn't die, though. He was rushed to Jackson Park Hospital, where surgeons saved his life. Torrio decided this near-death experience was enough for him. After his release from the hospital, he and his wife took a long vacation to Italy and moved back to New York, leaving Chicago for Al Capone and Jaime Weiss to battle over. The Chopper. With John Torrio gone, Al Capone assumed control of the Southsiders. Capone's headquarters was in the Hawthorne Hotel in the town of Cicero, just outside the Chicago city limits. At Schofield's flower shop on the north side, Jaime Weiss figured the time was right for him to let the world know about the Tommy gun. Capone and bodyguard Frank Rio sat drinking coffee at a restaurant on busy 22nd Street in Cicero. They planned to head over to the Hawthorne racetrack in Cicero to watch the horses run later that morning. Suddenly, they began to hear the chattering of a machine gun coming up the street. Capone was forced to the ground by Rio as the window exploded and bullets riddled the restaurant, terrifying the customers. The street went deathly silent. Capone started to get to his feet. Rio, sensing a trap, pushed Capone back down again. Then 10 black Cadillac cars slowly rolled down 22nd Street, some stopping in front of the Hawthorne Hotel, some in front of the Anton Hotel, and some in front of the restaurant containing Capone. Men with Tommy guns spilled out of the cars and, not quite knowing where Capone was, emptied them into all 3 buildings and everything in between. Thousands of .45 slugs from the Tommy guns were fired into the buildings in hopes of ending the Capone gang once and for all. Somehow, Capone was uninjured. All of 22nd Street in downtown Cicero was destroyed, and Jaime Weiss's lethal motorcade was headed back to Chicago. Capone looked around and saw the awesome power of the Tommy gun. If he did not do something quickly, then Capone would not remain the big man on the South Side for long. The Northsiders did not own the only Tommy guns in existence, and Jaime Weiss had missed the target. Capone would not make the same mistake. Every knee shall bow in heaven and on earth. Jaime Weiss missed Al Capone and Cicero because he really did not know where Capone was at the moment the North Side cars rolled down 22nd Street. They fired thousands of bullets and terrified everyone, but almost nobody was hit. Capone had a different plan. He knew the Northsiders were still headquartered at Schofield's flower shop site of the O'Banion murder. He knew if he waited long enough, he would be able to see Weiss somewhere outside the shop. So to make sure, he had South Side men rent rooms in the apartments right next to Schofield's and across Superior Street. From there, they could see the entire area. If they were lucky enough, they could do the shooting from the apartments. On October 11th, 1926, Weiss was returning from a court date with his bodyguard, Patty Murray. The two parked on the corner of Superior and State Street at Holy Name Cathedral and started to make their way across the street towards Schofield's. As he crossed the street, Weiss may have taken a look at the cornerstone of Holy Name Cathedral, which bore the inscription, "At the name of Jesus, every knee shall bow, those that are in heaven and those on earth." Just then, machine gun fire from the Southsiders' newly purchased Tommy guns shattered the silence in front of the church. Weiss fell to the ground immediately, his body punctured by at least 10 machine gun bullets. Patty Murray was also killed in the ambush, with fire from the second room across Superior Street. The killers, realizing they hit their targets, ran from the buildings and disappeared a block away on busy Chicago Avenue. Police later retrieved a jammed Tommy gun from the roof of a doghouse in a yard near Schofield's, with 36 rounds fired from the 100-round drum magazine. The killers had gotten away, and the Northsiders' second gang leader was no more. Behind the slain Jaime Weiss, defaced by Southside bullets, the cornerstone of the cathedral now read, "Every knee shall bow in heaven and on earth." It appeared as if Capone's aim was for every knee in Chicago to bow before him, and there seemed to be little anyone could do or would do about it. And there you see Holy Name Cathedral, the newspaper article from after the murder, as well as the dead body, which actually I say is Jaime Weiss there. It's not Jaime Weiss. That's actually wrong. That is his bodyguard, Patty Murray, when he was killed along with Weiss in 1926. Okay. The next article we're going to read is the third part in that three-part trilogy, and that one is going to be known as the St. Valentine's Day Massacre.